Hello everybody and welcome to part 2 of What If Midoriya Was Half Ghost. If you haven't seen the previous part, there'll be a link in the description below. If you enjoy the series and want to see more, please let me know in the by either hitting that like button or telling me in the comments below. If you have any suggestions, make sure to leave them in the comments or in my Discord, which is in the description below. Actually, doing it in the Discord will bring more attention to it, as I usually check that daily. And I asked you guys questions, so please check it out. There aren't that many people there. Last thing, I want to thank you all for your crazy support on the last video. I mean, it got like 2,000 views in the first 2 days, so that's actually insane for me. With that out of the way, let's get into the video. In the last episode, we saw how Midroiya got into an accident at the Phantom Works facility, getting some pretty interesting abilities. He then used these abilities to get into UA and to get a good mark in the quirk apprehension test. After all of that, the next day of school quickly arrives. The students go through their regular class routine, including classes like math, English, and others. After lunch, All Might jumps into class while saying, "I am here, coming in through the door like a hero." The class is a bit surprised to see him, and Kaminari says, "Holy crap, it's All Might!" Kirishima then says, "So he really is a teacher this year, it's gonna be awesome!" And Tsuyu says, "Hey look, he's wearing his Silver Age costume!" And they continue to mutter in the background. All Might gets on the podium and says, "Welcome to the most important class at UA High. Think of it as Heroing 101. Here you will learn the basics of being a pro and what it means to fight in the name of good. Let's get into it. Today's lesson will pull no punches," as he holds a sign that says battle. Bakugou is really excited and with a huge grin on his face says, "Fight training." Midoriya thinks, "This is a chance to prove myself." All Might then says, "But one of the keys of being a hero is looking good." The wall opens up with some shelves holding the cases with the hero suits coming out. All Might continues speaking. "These were designed for you based on your quirk registration forms and the requests you sent in from before school started. Get yourself suited up and then meet me at Training Ground Beta." A bit later at Training Ground Beta, All Might waits in front of the gate as the students start coming through wearing their new costumes. In this version of events, Midoriya comes out wearing what looks like his Gamma costume. It's pretty much the same, except on his belt he has a bunch of different gadgets. And his costume can change with him, like when he transforms, the color-wise it transforms into his ghost form with him. I'm going to say that when he goes in, he doesn't manifest the suit around him, but the suit he has changes color with him. So Midoriya comes out of the gate with snow white hair, red eyes, and his costume looking black and white. The students come out of the gate and All Might goes into a bit of a rant about their uniforms, ending it by saying, "They say the clothes make the pros, young ladies and gentlemen, and behold, you are the proof. Take this to heart. From now on, you are all heroes in training. You're getting me all ramped up. You look so cool. Now shall we get started, you bunch of newbies?" When Midoriya comes out of the tunnel, he's greeted by Uraka, who says, "Love your costume, Deku. Looks really good with your altered form. I should have been more specific with what I wanted. This bodysuit is skin tight. Not really my style." Mineta gives the thumbs up and says, "I love this school." Midoriya turns into his regular form and says, "Yeah, this costume is really cool. It even changes with me when I transform. But your costume doesn't look that bad. It looks pretty good, actually." All Might says, "Now that you are ready, it's time for combat training." Iida raises his hand and says, "Sir, this is the fake city from our entrance exam. Does that mean we'll be conducting urban battles again?" All Might answers, "Not quite. I'm going to move you 2 steps ahead. Most of the villain fights you see on the news take place outside. However, statistically speaking, run-ins with the most dastardly evildoers take place indoors. Think about it. Backroom deals, home invasions, secret underground layers. Truly intelligent villains stay hidden in the shadows. For this training exercise, you will be split into teams of good guys and bad guys and fight 2-on-2 indoor battles. Asui answered. All Might responds, the best training is what you get on the battlefield. But remember, you can't just punch a robot this time. You're dealing with actual people now. Yoriorozu asks, Sir, will you be the one deciding who wins? Baku asks, how much can we hurt the other team? Iida asks, will you be splitting us up by chance or by other criteria? And Oyama asks, is this cape trash-chic? All Might says, I wasn't finished talking. He then grabs his script and starts explaining the exercise. The same one as in the main continuity, so I'm not going to bother repeating it. Lots are drawn and Midoriya and Uraraka are the first heroes up against Bakugou and Iida, who are playing the villains. Before the exercise starts, Midoriya gives the villain group some advice and tells them if things get out of hand he will interfere, and that they can get started. They have 5 minutes to prepare. Inside the building, Bakugou and Iida go to the weapon. Iida, walking towards it, says, even as an exercise, it pains me to be aligned with criminal behavior. So this is the weapon. Fake, of course. Bakugou says, hey, Four Eyes, let's beat this guys like there's no tomorrow. Especially Deku. And then they start discussing a plan. Outside, Uraraka asks, do you really think they expect us to memorize this building's floor plan? It's so big. You know, almost just as cool in person as he is on TV. I'm glad he isn't threatening us with some sort of punishment like Mr. Aizawa. Although he did end up re-enrolling Mineta right after expelling him. What's that about? Midoriya says, yeah, All Might's awesome. I actually asked Mineta about that before. Apparently Mr. Aizawa just wanted him to get a taste of death or something like that. I mean, it's kind of weird. We should start thinking about the exercise though. We're up against some pretty powerful opponents. Bakugou is very talented with his quirk and Iida probably is too. Bakugou can be obnoxious sometimes, but he is amazing and talented. I'm going to give it my all, so I have to beat him. Uraraka smiles and says, so it's a fated battle between rivals. Midoriya says, not really, no, I don't think he considers him your rival. Uraraka says, oh, by the way, I've been meaning to thank you. Midoriya asks, for what? Uraraka answers, for saving me, you dummy, in the entrance exam. I didn't recognize you with the different hair and eye color, you know. Midoriya blushes a bit and says, you're welcome. Actually, talking strategies, this is what I think we should do. They then start discussing their plans. 2 minutes later, the exercise starts. Midoriya makes his hand intangible, passing it through the door and opening the locked door from the inside. He says, here you go, my lady, as he opens the door, while gesturing for Uraraka to pass. Uraraka says, thank you. Midoriya says, remember, I'm going to be right next to you, so don't freak out. Uraraka nods and Midoriya, I'm going to be right next to you, so don't freak out. Uraraka nods and Midoriya turns invisible. They then start making their way through the building. When reaching a corner, Midoriya will look ahead and check if there are any opponents there before Uraraka keeps going. They eventually reach a corner where Bakugou is waiting to blast them. Midoriya takes a couple of steps forward, punching Bakugou as he stumbles back, and Midoriya punches him again. Bakugou says, what the hell? Midoriya then shows himself. Bakugou grins and says, so it was you. He then goes in for a right hook with an explosion. Midoriya blocks the attack and punches Bakugou again. Midoriya shouts, Uraraka, keep going! Uraraka then starts running, passing them. Midoriya stands over Bakugou and says, remember all those years you thought I was worthless? Well, I studied your moves. I know you always start with a right hook. Bakugou grits his teeth and throws an explosion at Midoriya. Midoriya reflexively crosses his arms, wanting to block it, but also goes intangible. Midoriya runs in for an attack, and Bakugou tries to block the punch, but Midoriya goes intangible, only making himself solid to hit Bakugou. Sort of like what Mirio does. Midoriya says, You should have paid more attention, Bakugou. I can go intangible. You may have laughed when I lacked control, but look who's laughing now. Bakugou goes in for an attack with an explosion. Midoriya makes the upper part of his body intangible, so the explosion goes right through him. Bakugou at the same time sweeps Midoriya's leg, making him fall. Before he hits the ground, however, Midoriya starts floating. Bakugou then throws an explosion at Midoriya. He doesn't even have time to react or go intangible in anything, so it hits him. Bakugou says, You may have improved when using your quirk, but you still have to think about it. You're just as worthless as ever, Deku. Bakugou's gauntlets then glow and he says, Finally! He thinks for a moment and continues, but it's going to be no good against you. Bakugou rushes in, throwing another explosion, creating a smoke screen, limiting Midoriya's field of vision. Bakugou runs away, saying, "If I can't beat you on a head-on fight, I'll just go take care of your partner first." A red light emerges in the smoke, and a red beam of light, an ecto-ray, is shot from the smoke, hitting Bakugou in the back. Midoriya steps out of the smoke with a serious look on his face and says, "You have to defeat me first." In the meantime, Uraka reaches the room with a weapon. She sneaks in and hides behind a pillar, thinking, "I just have to wait for Deku and we'll take on Iida together." She then hears Iida monologuing and laughs, giving away her position. Iida says, "Ah, Uraka, I see you managed to get past my compatriot, but you'll find nothing here you can use as a weapon. I have prepared for this and taken away all small items." Uraka radios, "I got found out, sorry." Midoriya, while evading another exploding ghost, asks, "Where are you?" Uraka says, above you, actually." Midoriya says, "Great." Bakugou shoots another barrage of attacks at Midoriya, all going through him, not landing a single one. Bakugou says, "You can't keep intangible forever, Deku." Midoriya says, "You're right. I'll eventually run out of time or stamina. Luckily, my job here is done." Midoriya flies into the roof, going through it and stepping out near the weapon. Iida sees him from the corner of his eye and exclaims, "Where did you come from?" Bakugou says through the radio, "Hey, Deku got away. I'm going to the weapon." Iida runs to the weapon, moving it out of the way of Midoriya before Midoriya can touch it. Midoriya rushes at Iida, shooting some ecto-rays at him, forcing him to evade, running to Uraka. Iida stops right before Uraka can touch him. However, Midoriya can. Midoriya uses his intangibility, transferring it to Iida and trapping him on the ground. Midoriya says, "Oh, cool. I wasn't sure that would work." Midoriya and Uraka then touch the weapon, winning the match. Just as Bakugou reaches the room, he screams, "Fuck!" After that, Midoriya is given the MVP title for his quick thinking and use of his quirk, although he almost lost with only 39 seconds left on the clock. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did and want more, you know what to do. Hit that like button and tell me what you want in the comments below. If you have any suggestions, questions, or anything else, leave them either in my comments below or in my Discord, although I would prefer the Discord. That's it from me for today, and until next time everyone, have an absolutely fantastic day. Bye!